Welcome to the live video, everybody. We're here on Facebook and later on YouTube for the weekly live stream channeling. I'm Dante Starshine, and Bastiani is our beautiful host today, answering or asking aloud the questions that you type in. So I encourage you, we encourage you, if you have a more personal question, to please ask it in audio version rather than typing it out, because nothing we do here is like a psychic reading. It's a exploration of how you create your reality and how you can activate your own intuition to discover some of these things on your own. And we can certainly explore things much deeper when you join us. Don't be shy. So if anybody feels like they want to share the video to a variety of groups or to their own page, that's something beautiful that you can do to support it. Like the video, share the video, all of those things. So we do this every week on Friday, and I also offer one-to-one channeling sessions, and now I'm launching a second go-through of a channeling and intuitive healing course that goes over 13 weeks, and there's 12 or more hours of recorded content, and then a weekly 2-hour meeting to put the tools to work and kind of explore our own journey within the container of the group. So it was really powerful and transformative for the first group. And I just released a video today that's some testimonials from people who participated to get a clear sense of what you can experience from the course. And yeah, you can feel free to ask me any questions about that. Oh, and another announcement is there will be a Patreon community channeling. So Patreon is a way that you can support this live stream and all of the other videos I share. You make a monthly donation, and there's a couple of different tiers now. Right now, for $4 or more, you can submit your questions in advance. Some people like that because they can't attend the live stream when it's actually live, though 22 will get you into a community where every month we have a more private channeling session, and it doesn't get uploaded publicly to YouTube. Publicly, I will still use YouTube, but you'll get like a link that only you can access, only people in the community can access. So that's a way to go deeper, and we're just launching that. The first one will be October 11th. Okay, that's a lot of words. Is there anything I'm forgetting about how this setup works that people can remind me of? I think I said it all.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. So yeah, donations support us in continuing to do this, and you can submit that through Patreon, PayPal, or Venmo. And without anything more, I'm just going to let them come through. So enjoy the transmission and hope it's a beautiful one for you. Hello, and we say a good day to you this moment of your time. As the Pleiadian Council, we speak on behalf of the Galactic Alliance and many other beings supporting your planet through this grand process you are calling ascension. It is a pleasure and honor for us to meet you, and it supports us in our evolution in the same way it supports you. So our thanks is with you. And we will begin with addressing your world's developments and tools that we suggest before we dive into your questions once again. So you may be witnessing a great transformation underway. And this process that you are a part of requires your input in order to transform. Right now, you are witnessing again and again in your world ecological mishaps. And this is merely manifestation of humanity's disconnection from nature. Yes, there are occurrences that have to do with human carelessness. We would also ascribe to a disconnection from nature. And yes, there are perhaps some forces that make this attack on nature. In some situations, it is more natural, in the sense the result of how you have treated your environment. And in other cases, it is enacted. It is an act of self-harm, really, because when you attack nature, you attack yourselves. You are nature. And the shift that is really occurring stems first from realizing everything is one thing. Therefore, you are nature, and you are the other humans that you or you choose to oppose. So anytime you create harm or say something in a way that is not fully sensitive to the others involved, you are actually hurting yourself. And now you must understand what you can do about that. First of all, the universe responds to your intentions. So there are ways that you can intentionally invoke for rain, for harmony, for less destruction. And doing this in the way that suits you, and perhaps learning from other traditions of how magic and intention was used to create balance in weather and in nature, will help you in finding your own unique way of doing this. This is great, though this is in itself not enough. So as man, you could say, has acted against nature, the way that nature keeps itself in harmony does not really work in the way it used to. So you actually must go out of your way to counteract the changes that you have initiated. And yes, in a sense, everything, if left in its own accord, will experience equilibrium through the ups and downs and the flows of things. So now there has been too much done, and some focus must be directed towards how you can change that. Even in many indigenous places, there were different tools they used to shape the natural environments, to even have controlled burns of the areas that were most vulnerable. Yet these tools have been taken away, and you must consciously work to remember them. Now, that is the larger curve, you could say, of how this experience of transformation in terms of your natural world will take place. Though what can you do right now? You can stand up with your voice and say, we do not want to be a part of systems that separate us from nature, that harm nature. You can make that strong in all that you do. And again, the shift requires human consciousness get in alignment with this world where everything is truly experienced as one thing, where oneness is your natural predisposition. So those areas of life where your passion, where your care, where your concern leads you, are the areas without your voice you cannot create. And this was known, and is known really, in mystic science, you could say, where as far back as Vedic times, yogis and those who explored this chakra system knew that anything ushered from your voice becomes reality. And so when you say things that diminish your power, like, we'll see what happens, like, well, I'm not really sure, like, I hope it gets better, things that are seemingly neutral, but make you feel powerless or simply an observer to the dance of reality. You, in a way, give all of your power away. You diminish your ability to enact change. When you use your word to speak to the reality of the changes you wish to see, speak to your power in inspiring that change to happen, then the universe will respond to that vibration that you are putting out. And until you can bring your voice in alignment with the world you really want to see, you are not taking all of the power you need to take in order to hop on that train, you could say, leading you to your preferred reality, leading you to the ascended version of Earth you intend to experience. So these are times that are really calling you to be evolutionary or revolutionary. And you have to understand that you have power. You have control over your experience. And speaking more to some of the things that may concern you all now, we understand that some of you are concerned about the tightening restrictions and the potential to have certain freedoms taken from you, the potential to have certain experiences be required as mandatory. And we would say you always have a choice. If you believe that somebody can bring you to make changes to your body at a mandatory level, you are not seeing all of your choice. You are not opening your potential for peaceful protest or for creating your side, which is one of the potential futures. And even under imprisonment, you still have choices. Imagine yourself to be trapped in a cell.
You are frozen.
you are not seeing reality clearly as it is. You can never be forced into a negative state. You can only use an experience of limitation in a negative way, which is more common. Yet you can also use an experience of limitation in a positive way. And as you do that step by step, you will transform the entire situation. So part of using your voice then in a powerful way, understanding you always have a choice, and understanding that even the greatest limitations build your potential strength and lead you in to the experience of directly creating your reality around you. So we thank you for allowing this transmission to occur today, and then we ask you, how can we assist you deeper with any of your questions or inquiries, whenever you wish. All right.
Okay, so a friend of mine has a question. I'm going to read it. So my friend Kim struggles with inner emotional emptiness, an inner hole that wants to be filled up with love from relationship. So he has tried meditation to follow his passion, walks in the forest, but no, this hole only wants love, and it has to be now. But it's a bit disturbing and too pushy. That's what he says.
All right. We would say then, if there is a longing for this kind of human to human love, the best thing to do is give it to yourself. And sometimes, oftentimes really, you use each other in order to postpone exploring your genuine passion. And in this sense, love is not genuine. It is an escape from taking full self-responsibility. Though, when you are already exploring everything that fills you with passion, and you are fully occupied doing that, yet you still long for human love, this is real, this is a genuine need, and it is something you would do best to give yourself and not judge or condemn. Because understand, everything that is wanted fits into the grander scheme of the reality that you are here to experience. There would not be a want for it if it was not a part of your soul's purpose in experiencing this plane of existence. So much of the time, one thing that you think you want is not actually the true want. And the act of searching for that desire brings you through a process of disillusionment, where the perceived desire falls away and the genuine soul's desire beneath that perceived desire comes to light. And really, the best way to discover the desire beneath the desire is to go in the direction of the initial desire. Sometimes, through a deep search within yourself, you come to see what is beneath those desires, though when that search within prevents you from exploring the passion that you can experience and express around you, it is not really destined to be a successful path at all. So allow yourself to relate to this emptiness and know that Sometimes emptiness needs to be filled. And sometimes the emptiness is a portal into the great void. So this emptiness, the loneliness you experience with it, is a teacher. And if you stop resisting it and don't seek to fill it in a sort of frantic or clinging way, this emptiness can be a guiding light to show you your true all oneness, which is the higher reality of aloneness. Sometimes it takes that aloneness to experience all oneness. And then in that experience, when you meet another in a relationship, they are merely a mirror reflection that helps you to dive deeper into the experience of oneness through experiencing oneness with the other being.
Beautiful,
Hello.
thank
I have a question. This is Sarah. Sorry about Sandy. Did I interrupt?
you. No, I was just saying it was beautiful, thank you.
Oh, yeah. So I have a question about, well, the fires and what you said. I mean, I'm wondering, like, specifically how to begin to mobilize people to give the indigenous people, you know, the ability to intervene and begin really educating us on sustainable, you know, on forestry, living with the land in ways, you know, that prevents these massive destructive fires. I'm just wondering if there's any specifics, like how do I build a bridge? Like, you know, I know what I want to see, right? But what actions can we as a people actually take to really change the forestry practices?
Yes, the first thing you can do is using your voice to raise awareness around the need for the change. And certain key players, you could say, will follow that call to discover many of these tools. Now, understand that there is much to be gained through that clear alliance with the indigenous, and they may remember some of these practices, though other aspects of these practices may have been forgotten because it has been so long that it has been disallowed. So much of this you have to come to remember, and
Wow.
the balance between that scientific mind and the intuitive mind together will help you find the ways that really work to end these fires. And yes, part of it is the idea of controlled burns. Part of it is keeping certain areas more moist and using less water for non-sustainable agricultural practices. The whole agriculture system in turn must be changed as well, so that you can use less water for that and
Right.
use water to keep certain forests more moist.
And so there are certain key players out there that are put in place to be leadership. Like I can think of my dear friend Galen Hefferman. He has a lot of knowledge about what needs to be done, and um, yeah, I just wonder, like a first step is just to start like posting, just getting people aware of I mean, I think a lot of people are obviously knowing that something needs to be done, especially right now. I mean, that there's got to be some kind of a great response to this deep crisis. And yeah, I'm sort of just, as I ask this question, I am just, I'm wondering if
Well,
Galen and Jonavi and, mm-hmm.
one thing that you can offer is continuing to help people restore their sense of oneness with nature, as
Right,
this is something very alive for you. Because again, it is
right,
the disconnection from nature within the collective consciousness that allows for such disasters to happen. So while other people may experience passion through exploring knowledge of these new practices, if that is not what you have access to in the moment, you can be of service to this by helping to restore that sense of connection to nature and invoke the elemental energies to
right,
act in accordance with the change you wish to see. For example, invoking the energies of the water to soothe the fire.
right. Yeah. Frank and I had this is kind of another part of this same question. Frank and I had a really weird experience on the Oregon coast where we went to this beach and it felt like it was like 110 degrees right on the beach. And it felt like we were stepping like into an Armageddon timeline almost. I have no idea, but it was so intense. And then we drove about 5 minutes down the coast and it was like 30 degrees cooler. And it was like we were back in this reality and we were able to actually walk on the beach. But I wanted to ask, like, were we intersecting with a future timeline on that first beach? Was there some kind of timeline repair going on? That was my question.
Well, there is some sort of experience of parallel realities you are tapping into. First, we would say you are in an area where microclimates are quite common, as is the entire West Coast. So it is not that uncommon for there to be these big gaps between one area and another.
Right.
Though there is also an increasingly common phenomena that different places in your planet are connected to different parallel realities. So when we say many of the issues you are seeing in your world are representative of entirely different parallel realities, this is also to an extent true about environments. And it will become increasingly common that some towns and cities are living in an entirely different perceptual reality than others, and certain aspects of nature will be experiencing extreme rising temperatures and others experiencing extreme decline, others experiencing extreme drought, and others experiencing floods. So your reality is in a way going a bit topsy-turvy as the extreme energies are pushing different climates to express themselves in new ways that is rather challenging. Though, again, much of this can be mitigated and repaired. And it is important for everyone to, of course, as is said in your world, think globally, act locally, because you have more of an influence and impact on the lands that your body attunes to energetically. As you live in a place for a period of time, your consciousness, your energy field, starts to make a stronger connection with that of the world around you. So
Yep.
Part of the shift, unfortunately, means areas where consciousness aligns with higher frequencies will survive much of the environmental changes, whereas areas that decline in vibration will experience greater destruction. And you have more of an impact in your immediate surroundings.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, our thanks to you.
Hi, Great Pleiadian Council.
Oh, yes.
May I ask you a question?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Well, something that happened last night was as I was drifting off into sleep and attempting to just let go, it's as if I was able to let go of my body, turn with where I was simply mind/consciousness. And there was a starting of a feeling of oneness or understanding, as if there was a download of perception of oneness. I was kind of wondering, how do we keep this state coming up?
Can you imagine that state right now? It looked like, remember what different slight attributes were there? You can return into that state, though the trick is also to not attempt to directly recreate the same experience. Attempt the same experience, you will miss the mark. You will always go a little bit lower than the achieved state before. Yet if you open yourself to experiencing something even further beyond what you experienced before, use it as a baseline, you can open to a new sort of.
Wow, great, thanks. I would,
yeah.
And about this odd energy surge that happens around those moments, as if my body was convulsing a bit, but then just had to let go every time I attempted to go back into this state. Or even during this state, there was as if a feeling at the base of my spine, this energy that eventually just shoots up and disappears, or
Yes.
as if it integrates. What is that? What is that process?
Well, the energy is what you would know to be Kundalini energy. So it originates then at the base of your spine and travels up. You can look into the different teachings and mythologies around this energy. Generally, this energy of awakening is stored here at the base of your spine, and much of this energy is pent up due to survival fear. So as you awaken to go beyond the illusion that this reality is all there is, this energy ascends and it brings you to experience source or God consciousness within the experience of your human body. And the little surges or the twitches or even convulsions are all okay. This is the energy moving through blocked energy channels. And as it creates the convulsion or the twitch, it clears the energy channel and allows new energy to flow through new circuits. So it is important to allow them, not to in a way attempt to instigate the twitching, because the twitching itself is not the magic. It is the clearing. The magic is the access to that state. And for a period of time, your body will continue to twitch and convulse a little bit as you get used to being in that state. Exercises that seek to clear your channels are useful. energies that work to activate the Kundalini energy more are not to be taken lightly. It can be played with, especially if you cannot already access this seeming twitching. But if it is already working for you, we would encourage you to focus on exercises and practices that seek to clear the
Wow. Great, thanks. This actually kind of links up to possibly a prophetic dream 2 years ago where, for some reason, just in the dream, as if something was kind of not exploding, but just, I don't know, there was a bit of a release down there at the bottom. And just, at first it felt scary, but then it just felt like an ultimate release. So this really helps out on this. Thank you.
Oh, I thanks to you as
Hello,
well.
Pleiadian Council.
Hello.
I have a question. I have some friends who work on houses, and we have a plan for them to come to my house and help me clean out the inside of the house and also work on the outside of the house, do some repair work. And they'll be staying here with their kids. And first I'm wondering if you know, we could do this without the social distancing and masks. And if there's any, how how to keep it good, I guess, like how to keep us having a good time together, because it might be a few weeks that they're here. Not sure. Thank you.
All right. Well, it is safe. It is quite safe. So then we would ask you, what are you, in a way, supposing might go wrong that would bring you to not have a good time?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a very good question. I guess I have a concern or a fear that I'm not used to. I've been alone for the last 5 months here, and it's been too isolating. And perhaps I'm concerned that it'll be too much of the opposite of having the children here. And they're going to, you know, this is my best friend, and she's going to be helping me you know, transform my house, like you know, go through my parents' things, my parents who have passed away. And I anticipate it going smoothly. I just wonder if it would be too much energetically.
No.
And maybe
It will be an exciting integration. That is the potential available for you, is to have a very exciting integration and opening a new chapter of your experience. So if you use it in that way, nothing can really go wrong. If there comes to be any resistance or fear in the process, you can process that, transmute it consciously. Really, you will find that after the initial surprise of having so much energy around you, that you are actually enjoying it very much, enjoying the human connection and interaction. And if you find it ever to be too much, you have the blessing of doors and headphones to keep everything at ease in that moment.
Oh, wow, that feels so reassuring and exciting. And this is going to be a really good thing, more than I even realized. Right?
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Again, as we have said, you can use everything in a positive or negative way, though at its core, this is a positive experience. So you can change the positive experience into a negative one by resisting certain aspects of it, or you can allow it to be a transformative journey and appreciate all of the blessings it brings you.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you. I don't know if I can ask a separate question.
All right.
Thank you. like a few weeks ago, I talked to you guys about like I'm itching and the itching hasn't stopped, and now I think I have some sort of skin infection. I'm going to go to the dermatologist for this, and
Yes.
I'm just wondering if there's any. I'm going to get some medical help for this, and I'm just wondering if there's any additional thing I can do for my skin to help it heal that you can think of that you would like to offer.
What products are you using on your skin in the moment?
Coconut oil and salve, like pine sap salve.
Have you been using this for prolonged periods of time?
No, pine sap I've used for I don't know, a week and a half or so. Not a lot of it.
Right. All right. At this time, we would suggest, yes, continuing to explore with the dermatologist. You may find that having a variety of skin products to use is helpful, especially as we might have said calendula is a very
Oh,
balancing and healing plant for your skin.
okay. All right. Calendula, like calendula oil or some sort of, okay, so, okay. Any other herbs or plants that you can recommend that would be helpful? I think I have an infection. I don't think it's fungal. I don't know, maybe it is.
Castor oil.
Ah,
Castor oil, yes. Castor
that
oil
stuff
with
is sticky.
calendula and rose.
Okay. Castor oil. So castor oil is really sticky.
Yes. If you must dilute it with jojoba oil.
Okay. So I guess I would put the castor oil on, and I guess I would have to wash it off after a while or something.
No, let it absorb. That was not going to serve you if you wash it off. If you allow it
Oh,
to absorb, it will stop being sticky and your skin will accelerate its healing process quite rapidly.
oh, good. Wow, castor oil,
And again, it
rose.
will absorb a little bit quicker if you dilute it with perhaps 30% jojoba oil.
Ah, excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
Jojoba, castor, rose, calendula.
Use the rose in very small doses. You can use as much of the calendula as you'd like.
Okay. Okay, wow. Anything for the infection, like tea tree oil?
That will dry your skin out more. Just stick with the castor oil.
Okay. Okay, great. Any other herbs internally or externally?
No, that will do.
Thank you so much, Pleiadian Council. I really appreciate your help today.
Yes, our thanks to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello,
Hi,
yes.
my name is Michal, and I kind of just stumbled across this and decided to join the Zoom meeting.
Well,
So
welcome.
thank you, and thank you for doing this. And I'm just wondering if maybe looking at my energy, seeing if there's any message for me or something that would be important for me to be aware of in myself in
All right.
my journey of self-transformation. Yeah.
Well, are you following your passion fully?
I am. I've been working on, I guess, building a business around my passions. So now it's kind of
Yes.
time to kind of put it out there in the world. So then there's that part of me that's like, oh, am I ready? And then there's that part of me that's like, well, this is my passion. So yes. And I guess it's
Yes.
just that hesitance. Yeah.
All right. So you know you are ready on one level, and then you must, in a way, come to understand why the part of you that insists on being not is why in a way do not be ready? What are you protecting yourself from in a state of not readiness?
You want me to answer that?
Yes.
Sensing like fear. Let's see if I can get
Yes.
more. Fear of being myself, showing up authentically.
Fear that
yeah.
if you showed up authentically as yourself, you would not be enough, or you would not meet certain expectations, or something along those lines, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Well,
something that comes up for me is like
reframing this.
if
All
I,
right.
yeah, go ahead. Well, what I was gonna say is something that comes up for me is like when I'm working with clients, like there's this flow and it all just goes amazing, and it's more of this powerful flow that just does magic, and it's not really me trying to do anything. But then the thought of like maybe a potential client presenting itself is like that fear of me, like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to help them, but it's all kind of nonsense because I know once I'm in the flow, there's just powerful stuff that happens. But yeah, there is just kind of that voice of like, I don't know if I can help them, even though it doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah.
Yes. So when you realize that in order to actually help them, it is effortless on your behalf because you are in a way acting as a channel for the information and energies they need to integrate, then you can understand as well that somebody who does not receive what you have to share is in a way blocked in receiving, and it isn't about the quality of your channeling or giving, it is about them not being ready. So you are having this tension because it is inevitable that eventually you will attract somebody who is not ready. And when your work with them does not meet either of your expectations, you have to be prepared to, in a way, accept that this is not me, this is on them for being in a state of resistance. And when you can accept that and the potential energies that come along with it, you know that really there's nothing to fear because all you are doing is fulfilling your soul's purpose. Again, you are here to be yourself. And the unique essence that you express by making yourself visible and making your gifts available is really why you are here. And it will resonate with everybody it's meant to resonate with. And yes, you will improve over time naturally, and you will resonate even more with even more people, but you can't get to that step before putting yourself out as you are right now. So while there may be always continual seeking for improvement, the improvement doesn't happen until you accept everything about you and what you offer as it is. And in doing so, you also come to accept that those people who don't meet you in the uniqueness you are in a way not meeting themselves. And that isn't really your fault or your problem. Does that make you feel more ready?
Yes. Yeah.
Or could you be even more ready?
I feel like what you just said is like sinking in, like it needs to kind of process. Yeah, but that does help a lot. It definitely addresses that hesitance that I felt, and it kind of clarifies that. And yeah, I guess the part that really helps or makes me feel more ready is that I just have to kind of get out there and make myself visible, and the improvement will come from there over time. But I guess the first, if I want to take baby steps, the first step is getting myself out there. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because the other route that people often take in preparing to prepare to be ready actually will sabotage the results of what you do. Because if you spend so much time and focus putting your energy at a place of making sure it's perfect first, then once you actually go forward into what you're doing, that static energy will carry with you. And even though it is perfect in the moment, you will not see it because you've spent so much time attempting to make it perfect first, rather than accepting that nothing is permanent and you put out what you put out in the moment in order for it to get better and better and better and build like a brilliant snowball.
Mm-hmm.
And to take that metaphor further, perhaps one snowball gets so big that you stop making it, and then you focus on another snowball to combine to create together your perfect snowman or snow woman or snow being. Yes.
Yeah. Nice. I love that. That's super helpful because I guess my nature was really to be fully prepared and perfect before I start, but I'm starting to really see that it's just about getting myself out there and then going with the flow from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For you are perfect as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And simultaneously becoming more perfect through being more of yourself in every moment.
Yes.
All right, are we complete with that exploration then?
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you.
All right, yes. Our great thanks and love to you as well.
I have a question.
Yes, hello.
Yes. I did have my first Zoom meditation prayer group. I guess it's been a couple weeks ago, and I didn't advertise widely because I just was uncomfortable with doing that. I actually didn't want too many people there because it was a lot for me to take that. I seem to need a baby step for that. And just one friend showed up. I only invited, I think, like 6 people or so. And some people were on a camping trip or whatever, or just weren't drawn, whatever. And with all the fire, have another one soon. I am having resistance and familiar thing in terms of stepping out is kind of complex, and I don't know how to address it. It has to do with feeling like fatigue, and I don't know if part of that is fear. I don't know whether I know I have some more inner child work to do because my inner child has not had a lot of fun in this lifetime thus far. And there's just kind of often too much of a disconnect between the adult and the inner child, or the should parent, the parenthesis should in the inner child that often is just like, you know, frustrated. And what else am I wanting to say about that? I also have a bad habit of procrastinating. On the other hand, I don't want to push myself.
All of this, you could say, connects with much of what we were speaking to the previous person about. And when you accept you are perfect in the moment, almost everything else you're talking about falls away.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'm kind of concerned about being too selfish, because I feel like I need a lot of care for my physical, mental, and emotional. And you do speak about stepping out, having a voice, stepping up, stepping out, speaking for the whole. And I'm not sure how much of my my seeming need to take self-care and not do those things is justified.
Well, it is in a way the foundation of serving others is making sure your own needs are taken care of first, because if you are in a negative state because you have not taken care of your nutrition and exercise and relationships and creativity in the way that suits you, then nothing you do is really serving in the highest way, or perhaps not serving at all. So it is all necessary. It is never one or the other, it is both. So you must take care of yourself in order to serve others. It can be a trap, again, when you're caring for yourself is a constant preparation in doing something that you never do because you remain preparing forever.
Yeah, at first glance, it doesn't seem like that. Yeah, I have an older body and that has admittedly had a lot of issues because of anxiety that goes through the body. And I'm doing pretty good for a 73-year-old, but it seems like you know, and then there's the challenges in the environment with all this fire smoke and everything. Yeah, so I feel like I'm doing a little more. Even though only one person came to the group, I felt good about it. I felt like,
Yes.
you know, I did it.
So it was a success. And
yeah,
if you want to maintain a smaller group so that it is something that feels comfortable and enjoyable for you, that is well and good. As long as you experience passion through it, then it is serving its purpose. In a way, it is all right that the ways that you serve are selfish. Because, again, if you are not in a state of passion when you do it, then you are not allowing the highest potential within yourself to come through. Which is why we, again, always say, do what fills you with passion. And even if just one other person experiences your passion with you, that is a success. So there is nothing you really have to prepare for. You simply have to share what feels exciting and passionate for you and do it in the way that is exciting and passionate for you to do it. So in this case, you won't put a live video out for all of the world to see like is happening right now. You can just share it with those that make you feel more excited about doing it. And again, that builds with time. It snowballs, so that every time you do it, you can make the snowball a little bit more if you'd like to, or keep it at that size and decide to build another snowball.
yes. Thank you. There was one thing that I was puzzled about when I did my prayer at the end. And this would be another indication to keep the group small, because I could inform people of the way that I do prayer. I feel like I, for want of a word, kind of channel prayer, but it's more like I just get in touch with whatever is coming. Maybe it's coming from my higher self, maybe it's coming from my heart. And at the end of the prayer,
that is channeling.
Oh, that is channeling. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And at the end of the prayer, there was one thing that because I was conscious that there was someone else there. Actually, she's an agnostic, but she kind of plays with spirituality, which is I find interesting. And but what I wanted to say at the end of the prayer, which came naturally, but I didn't say, like, in Christ's name. And, you know, I'm not a fundamentalist Christian at all. I would say I'm a Christian of sorts, because I wouldn't be wanting to say that if I weren't. Christ is a very potent force
Yes.
for spirituality. And so I'm just wanting to I'm just thinking that I need to preface it when the group gets larger, that I'm not, you know, I'm not affiliated with any Christian church or anything, because I want to be able to just being, you know. Might you say something about that?
Yes. If you like this word, you can explore, again, Christ consciousness. Because, again, the figure of Christ came for many purposes, and one of which was to bring another wave of this degree of Christ consciousness. And you can say Christ consciousness is the same as Krishna consciousness, is even expressing itself as crystal consciousness. It is the consciousness of deep unconditional love that everyone in their own way is awakening to through that process of ascension. So to use that idea, Christ consciousness, it's well and good if that is what works for you and that is what uniquely ignites your passion. And again, understand that your uniqueness will attract the unique people you are meant to work with. So a short preface, as stated, is enough. That is all that is required, really, to make the statements the way that you choose to make them.
Okay, good. And, you know, it might be another time that might not flow out of me, but at that particular, yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Our thanks to you as well.
If there are no more questions for now from the Zoom group, I will read a question from the Facebook Live.
All right.
So the first one, where is it? Question about COVID-19. This problem that our planet is experiencing is it some kind of learning?
Some kind of what?
Learning.
Learning. Oh yes, it is a grand learning. There are many aspects to this lesson. The first of all is having to do with the same thing we spoke to about the idea of fires. It is, you are disconnected from nature. This is a man-made artificial disconnection, and it allows both for the destruction of natural environments, and that in turn allows for diseases to be easier to spread. So because you are so concentrated, diseases can spread more quickly. And because the environments themselves are destroyed, diseases that would normally be held in the container of ecosystems escape and mutate. And this is a sign of what could become. So that is one lesson. And the other lesson is the extreme reaction, the extreme measures of control that are signaling the end of a time on your planet that was defined by attempting to control the mass consciousness. And there is actually the potential to shift into a negative version of Earth where the control becomes predominant. And this is why we say you must use your voice, because without you speaking up against the ways you are being controlled and being manipulated that you do not stand for, that control becomes bigger and it leads you further down that negative timeline. So while there are certain things that are done for safety, you must use your discernment to see what is done for safety and what is done for control. And when you stand up for your truth and you stand up against those controlling forces, as well as standing up for the restoration of human consciousness with natural consciousness, you will truly usher in that new age and time on your planet. So now is a very important and pivotal time. Those are some of the lessons that you are being allowed through this experience of COVID-19.
Great, thank you. There is another question from Natalia. I am following my passion. I'm channeling through art. But something happens and I don't feel excitement anymore. I'm getting stressed because I don't do anything. Maybe you can give me an advice. I would like to know what is happening because I did it in, I don't know exactly what's, because it doesn't make sense what is written here. Yeah, so an advice around this, because I feel now like smashing my face in the wall. Thank you.
So when we say follow your highest excitement, your highest passion, do what you love the most, we aren't saying it is one thing that will complete you. It is not, in a sense, your vocation. And the conditioning of your world makes you come to think as if you have one important purpose, a career, a vocation, something that you direct all of your energy into, when this is actually very far from the true formula of excitement that we suggest to you, because you are multifaceted beings. And while you could say that art in this case represents 67% of everything that is exciting for this said individual, there are other aspects of life that if you don't explore, the rest of your creative pursuits then fall away. So you must uphold your excitement with every pillar. And perhaps the other things that are exciting for you are as simple as going out and taking a swim, having exciting conversations and explorations with friends. Perhaps it is studying something. Perhaps it is exploring relationships. Perhaps it is exercising. There are other areas of your excitement that are equally important. And the understanding is when you become fully present in the moment, rather than in some mental construction of what you should do, you will know what feels most exciting for you in the moment. And when you know what feels most exciting for you in the moment is the most important thing of all, and you do it, naturally it will fill itself in. And you will be able to in every moment say, today, right now, I feel like going for a swim. And then when you get back, you can focus on your painting or your other creative pursuits. And then the moment when it stops feeling exciting, you do something else. It's allowing your feeling state to guide you, and knowing that because your state of being is more important than everything else, whatever makes you feel empowered, aligned, in love is the most important thing in your reality in that moment.
Great, thank you. I
Yeah.
have.
We would also say, adding on details to this, that part of exploring your passion is often encountering negative belief systems. And as you set yourself up to explore passion in a certain way, you may find belief systems in the way that generate resistance. So while, of course, being in the state of being you prefer is most important, you will encounter these moments that require a deeper processing, that requires you to look at negative beliefs and do self-healing work to, in a way, pause up until the moment that you are able to know what inspires your passion again. So yes, you can carry on then.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. Recently, I saw a YouTube video from other beings channeling, and this one was the Pleiadians as well.
Yes.
And the message was about that in the very near future, the Pleiadians will come to visit planet Earth, like in
Yes.
a lot of different spaceships, and
Yes.
and go back again. What do you say about that?
Well, this is already happening.
Why don't we just ask what we should do together? Do we need it?
This is already happening. Oh, we need muting
Mel,
action.
could you please mute yourself?
Muting action required.
Don't help.
I'm gonna try to do that. One moment.
We think it is all right now. So, yes, this is already happening. And you can see this through the mass shift towards many star seeds awakening, many people realizing they have these connections, and many people having these out-of-body experiences where you travel to the different ships and locations. So we are already around you, and we have been, and there are more of you that are waking up to the reality that we have always been here. And yes, there is the potential for mass meetings. So those of you who are tuned into us and you desire that confirmation of a physical sighting, ask in your meditation and in your dream work, when and how can we come about a physical sighting? And listen to the details and show up in the locations with the instructions given. And know that many of these encounters initially will be ones that in a way prepare you to integrate more energy. You may notice that in your interactions with us, there is a degree of fear or resistance that comes up to the surface and is purged through your being, and allow that to be just what it is. Know that every time you reach our vibration, your vibration has to raise to new heights, and every time you raise to new heights, those things that prevented you from accessing that higher frequency energy must come up, must come to the surface, and must release. So much of this experience of contact will happen in this way as you prepare more to meet us in your dreams, in your meditations, in these physical sightings. And there will be that potential for large-scale physical sightings, and there may be, depending on the path that you as individuals and as a collective choose, opportunities for mass degrees of disclosure. And we would say that very much of this can happen before your year 2030 if you choose to align right here and now.
All right, thank you.
May we go next?
Go for it.
Okay. So we are in the fires right now, and we were wondering if it would be best for us to stay put before heading out, and then possibly meet our friend at a lake on our way home, or try to leave sooner to get out of the smoke and maybe have more time with our friend and go to a hot spring or do something like that. We were kind of wondering if the fires are arson, or if they might get worse, or if it's better to wait a little while and enjoy where we are and relax with our family, or try to get out sooner.
Take care of our responsibilities.
Yes, it is wiser to stay safe. So wherever you can go that is furthest from the fires and furthest from the smoke, where you can truly relax and unwind, would be the best place to be in the moment. So if that is what it will be like if you go with your friends to the hot springs, that is what we would suggest right now. There is the potential that the fires continue.
Okay, so would it be better to meet at the lake and have a quick time together, or have more time at the hot springs?
Where is there less smoke? Where is there less of a danger?
Okay.
That's exactly what I would.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you as well. Are we still there?
Yes. So, question from Zoom. Go for it.
Yes, hi again. Yeah, I have some inner parts that bother me, I guess you could say. I've done my best, as far as I can see, to be a force for good in the world. But there's some uncomfortable things that I have inside me and my thoughts and feelings that I would like to let go of. And one of them is, I remember having the first experience when I was like about 14 years old. And I was looking at the headlines of the local newspaper, and there was some like catastrophe or something that had befallen probably a group of people, and my inner response was good. And and like occasionally that happens still with things like there's a part of me that wants, this is a little different than the newspaper thing, but there's a part of me, and I'm guessing it's not really a part of true me, but it's just an ego thing, is that that there's a part of me, and I hope nobody will do a voodoo doll on me or something, because it's certainly not me, is that I feel like I want more and more fire destruction, and I don't know what this part is. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's a part that needs melodrama or a part that needs to start fresh, wants to start fresh and start over again. If it's the part that feels, I know there's a big part of me that fears being left behind, and somehow if I'm not immediately threatened myself, that I'm not, I'm fine with destruction on the outside. I just really find this part extremely uncomfortable. And what might I do about it?
Well, understand that every part within you is well intended, but not allowed in a way to reveal those intentions when you repress it. So it is good to bring awareness to it. And we would say that there's two complex mixed motivations here. One being that you establish the understanding that you have it good by looking towards others who don't have it good.
Okay.
On some level, you feel as if you lack everything you need. So by having the validation that others have less, that part of you is in a way made an easier time, you could say. The other part then would be a part of you that enjoys chaos. The part of you that finds it more exciting because life itself is not as exciting. It is not as exciting. Chaos and destruction ruffles your feathers. It gets you moving. And so the more of that there is, the more you can have this sort of false, distorted excitement. So
yes.
Making this conscious is key. You don't always have to talk about it because, as you said, it might make other people who are not really ready to investigate themselves very uncomfortable.
Right.
Most people, the majority of people, are at a state of consciousness where they will repress any such aspect like the one that you were discussing. So be aware of when you process it openly, though processing it on your own would involve then accepting the fact that you aren't satisfied and not requiring outer validation of others having less in order to work with the part of you that is not satisfied. Because that part of you then requires your attention. It wants you to look at it and work to meet its needs. And once you meet those needs, you won't see any negative outside of you as a validation of you having it okay, because you will actually be more than okay if you work with this part of yourself. The other part, and you have to stabilize the parts of you that are seeking to control the way everything works through actually following genuine excitement. When you actually do what makes you feel alive and makes you feel as if you aren't, in a sense, completely in control, really, that you are a part of something bigger unfolding and that your love and passion is directing you, then you won't need a negative expression of this energy to emulate that excitement, because you will be living the excitement.
That makes perfect sense. You know, along the lines of, you know, my sharing this and being vulnerable, I'm a very open person. Is it okay to share such vulnerable things in this setting with the Pleiadians?
Yes,
Is it
yes, here it
safe
is
to
more
do
than
so?
good. It is wonderful. Yes.
Okay.
Though
Okay, good. Because
we would
I
actually
still,
encourage you in your other expressions in life to be aware of how much other people can hold, because what you are doing is not fundamentally bad in exploring and exposing these parts of yourself. That is a necessary step in healing. But somebody who is not dedicated to healing is going to be a very bad mirror. It's going to be a very bad reflection for you to actually work on those parts. And in fact, they might actually mess the parts up more. You see? Somebody
yeah,
has to be very much dedicated to self-exploration in order to be a receptacle for vulnerability, you could say.
Right. And so in terms of people watching these videos that Dante does, is mostly they will draw people that would understand this kind of openness?
And if they don't, then they will learn about it because they are interested in the other content within the video.
Okay, so it's not like unsafe for me or
No.
others. Okay.
No.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, our thanks to you as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
About sexuality for you,
Yes.
Pleiadians.
About our
Yes.
sexuality?
Do
all right.
Do you have anything to share that we could be inspired or learn about?
Well, our sexuality is very different than yours. And because we have evolved to a point where we no longer require a sort of sexual reproduction in order to make new life forms, sexuality has integrated to be a facet of all of our experience. So in this sense, our sexuality is the pleasure we derive from every interaction. And in the sense, everything is an act of pleasure for us. It is not sexual. We do not have that sort of same connotation with it, though our whole energy bodies are vessels of pleasure, and every action we take is an expression of pleasure.
I see. So you don't have this meetings, like physical meetings, like we have the same way.
Well, we have something similar in a sense, a sort of soul bind for a moment, where there is a great exchange of energy from one soul to another. And it, in a sense, involves touch and intimacy, though it doesn't involve the same sort of sexuality that it involves in your world. For us, it is even better. We understand that many of you cringe when you would imagine that evolution involves going beyond your sexuality, but we do say that it gets much better, and sexuality is your current expression, and that is well and good too. It is necessary, it is a part of it.
Sounds great. Yes.
Yeah.
And do you commit to one partner sometimes? Like exclusively one partner?
For periods of time, perhaps.
Or several partners at the same time?
Also, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't experience anything along the lines of jealousy. And also remember that to an extent, every interaction we have is a similar expression of an exchange of pleasure, that the parallel expression of our sexuality also works in that same exchange of pleasure. It's simply more intense, more intentional.
Mm-hmm. And do you have some similar kind of energy centers as we have?
Yes.
The 7 chakras?
7 chakras.
Chakras?
7 chakras on one level, though as one moves into higher dimensions, the chakras in a way disappear. They become one unified field. Mm-hmm. But there is a level at which we do have those same 7 chakras, and that is a level at which you can interact with us.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes, and to make what we have said more applicable in your own life, you can imagine that everything you do is as well an act of pleasure, and that everything you do is, in the same sense, a sexual exploration, as life is that of pleasure, and sexuality is nothing more than extreme pleasure. So by bringing more awareness into everything you do, from the food that you eat, to the flowers that you gaze at, to the way that you enter and feel the water against your body. Imagine all of this as an act of pleasure and deepen your awareness of the sensation within it. Feel that there's an exchange of energy between yourself and the world around you. And the more awareness you bring into that, the deeper your expression of sexuality can all as well become, and it can be in that sense unified with everything else in your life as well.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. I feel that I'm doing that, but I also imagine there's so many layers to it, so many levels of deepening into this enjoyment. Any more questions in the Zoom? Otherwise, I will read more questions from the Facebook Live.
May I ask can I expand on my question earlier?
Yes.
That's wonderful. I didn't know how much time I had. So I asked about the fires and leaving. I just wanted to express that we're really enjoying being here. Although with the smoke, we're spending most of our time inside now. So I wondered what the urgency is to leave, because my question actually is kind of more about highways being opened and closed, and that route that we're driving is going to be taking us through more fire areas. So we weren't sure when the safest time would be to leave. And because we're really also enjoying ourselves here, and when we go home, we're, you know, kind of ending our that part of our journey for a little while. Would it be urgent to leave like today or tomorrow, or would it be okay to stay the weekend and then leave Monday, or is it just preference at that point?
It is in a way, yes, your preference, though there is a chance that if you stayed over the weekend, that you would actually have to stay a bit longer.
Because of fires?
Yes.
Are we safe in the location that we're in right now?
For the time being, yes.
Okay, so would you recommend leaving like Sunday in like real early maybe, instead of leaving on Monday early?
Yes.
Okay, but we wouldn't need to leave today.
No, that is not necessary. Though do stay tuned in with all of the information, as, again, these situations are not very easy to predict because of the extreme volatile nature of them. There are many different probable timelines, so many different things can happen, and this is simply why we emphasize just stay safe and everything will be all right.
Okay, I appreciate being able to expand on that a little bit.
Yes.
And thank you for your time and energy.
Oh, well, thanks to you as well. And we hope you do enjoy the rest of your trip and find yourself in the perfect locations. We trust that you will.
Thank you. Anything else I should know?
No, that is all.
Thank you so much.
Yes, our thanks to you as well.
Any more questions from people in the Zoom?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi. So I'm thinking,
Hello. Yes.
like,
well.
Hi. Just get my thoughts together. So I've kind of found that it seems like there are like certain places that we as individuals, our presence in those places can have like a beneficial or maybe less beneficial effect on the way that, I don't know, like some kind of like grid of like how like people's consciousnesses are activating and like physical proximity to like different things, kind of creating like more and more of a like a greater like surge of like light and energy depending on
Yes.
where we individually are. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say, like kind of like a grid of like where
yes.
we as individuals
We
best served by physically being. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I'm wondering. Well, I feel like it's good for me to be on the East Coast to the Northeast of the United States, and right now I'm in California, and I am wondering if you would agree with that, and if there is any other places that you kind of feel like my energy would be beneficial to be in, and see like how urgent it would be for me to go to these places, like time frame wise. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, we will say there's no urgency for one. And to expand upon what you initially were saying, that it is not as much of a negative or positive experience. It's more about the resonance of energy. So when you are in a place that you experience great kinship with those around you, and you have similar intentions and visions, there is an experience of harmony that allows for an expansion to happen. Though if you are in places where you don't really match the vibration of the world around you, you create a dissonance, and you can really use that dissonance in a positive way by gaining the information you need to gain from it about yourself and about who you really relate to best, and take a moment to then shift into a better location. So we simply wanted to elaborate upon it a bit. And you will know this by your feeling, first of all. So you are accurate in your read then. For if you feel better in the Northeast than you feel where you're at now, then there's an attraction that is calling you to experience something in particular there. And you may also find that different areas, vortex areas, you could say, on the East Coast of the country in general, will have a certain vibration for you, will offer a certain experience of community and understanding for you. But again, there's no urgency. The opportunities will present themselves through synchronicity. When there is that window for you to jump into a new experience, take it. And as you follow your passion along the journey, there may be many other windows of opportunity that lead you to certain locations.
I see. Makes sense. Yeah, because I've been kind of stressing myself out, like being like I should move, but like also I kind of think I should just kind of chill in place until it seems more obvious. Cool.
Yes, you may come to see that there are various challenges occurring in your fall and winter, akin to what has already occurred, sort of a replay. So you want to keep that in mind and simply make sure that you are in a place that is supportive, where you feel connected to other people and able to express yourself and take care of yourself and rest, really.
Okay. And as far as like me kind of like taking initiative to move versus letting it happen synchronistically, is my like would a decision on my end to decide like I'm gonna go, you know, in 2 weeks I'm gonna go, is that like is that like a part of the journey of synchronicity, like my decision to do that, or is it really like I shouldn't? It is. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, when you make that decision, and of course understand that no decision is permanent until you find yourself getting off the airplane on the other side, or technically, for that metaphor, once the airplane is taking off. But in any case, you see, once you make the initial decision, the universe around you will show you confirmation. Perhaps you will hear about something occurring where you're deciding to go. Perhaps you will get a message from somebody over there. Perhaps you will see different signs or even subliminal little signals in patterns of numbers or the particular meaning you experience through art. You will see the signs that confirms synchronistically that the decision you made is either correct or not in alignment with your truest passion.
Okay, so my decision is a part of this synchronicity, because, and it's not like I'm like waiting back and not making a decision. I mean, that's kind of something I've been confused about for a while.
Yes, make the decision and see if the universe supports it.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Thanks so much.
Yes. Oh, well, thanks to you as well. Great. Love to you on this day.
Okay, I'm gonna read a question from the Facebook Live from Elva.
Yes.
How can I best get in touch with the Arcturians again? I feel like now I'm holding some fear that is blocking me from having them abduct me, but another part of me really wants to work with them and receive their help. Maybe they do work with me, but that I'm not consciously aware of it.
Yes, actually, that is true. In your dream times, there are interactions taking place on other levels. So one thing you can do is simply to ask to remember. And in your remembrance, because you are simply re-experiencing something that already happened, you may find that there is less fear blocking you. So perhaps you do a meditation to simply remember the experiences that have already occurred in your dream time. As you get familiar with those experiences again and come to trust that they are safe and well, you can invite these beings in. And again, all this requires your invitation, your willingness to feel and use your psychic senses to explore their realm and meet them. And know that it is very natural that after initial experiences of contact, fear comes to the surface. And all you really have to do with that fear is make yourself aware of it and breathe into it and witness it as an energy moving through you. Do not believe the thoughts that arise out of the fear and simply let them fall away and pass. Focus on the sensation of connection, at least with your own higher self. And through that connection, you may open up the channel to Arcturians or other beings of that same nature, if that is your choice.
Beautiful, thank you. And then Mushka has a couple of questions. I've started to speak gibberish, and somebody told me it was two Pleiadians wanting to channel energy through me. Is that true? And if yes, how and in which circumstances should I use it?
It is true part of the time. This tool of gibberish or light language allows your brain to enter into atypical states of consciousness in which energy simply flows through you. And as long as your intention in doing so is good, then you will allow for these higher frequency energies to pass through you, such as the energy of your own higher self, and then as the energy of any other beings that happen to make connection with you. And this happens more of the time when you really let go of the flow and you simply allow the languages to move through you. You don't attempt to control it. And by doing it in a sense for a bit of prolonged periods of time, the energy within you activates even more and spreads even easier. And really there is no wrong time to do this, because again, the energy of our consciousness and your own higher self is so pure, you could use this in any moment. If perhaps it would cause you danger to do it around people who might react in violent ways, that would be a situation to not do it. But beyond that, there are no situations in which this is inappropriate.
Great. And her next question from Mushka. At the same time, I'm starting a new period where I need to go into deeper meaning with my work and social life. What do you suggest for us humans to go deeper into our path and feeling meaning? Was it clear?
You broke up a little bit in your reading of that. We understand there's some statement about seeking deeper meaning.
Yes. Shall I read it again? I'm starting a new period where I need to go into deeper meaning with my work and social life. So what do you suggest for us humans to go deeper into our path and feeling meaning?
Oh, yes. Well, meaning is key. Meaning is what allows you to experience reality in a positive way. By assigning positive meaning to the developments of your life, you increase your vibration and you create art with your heart, yes? So the first thing to understand then would be that meaning is optional. You choose the meaning you use. And to an extent, much of this happens automatically, but it is still optional. For example, the meaning in your dreams. It is something that you choose. You choose it as at a subconscious level. But as you make yourself more aware of all of the layers at which your consciousness is working all the time, you gain the ability to recraft your subconscious mind in ways that work better for you. And therefore, within your dreams, you will experience a different sort of experience of reality with different meanings. And consciously, of course, you also add meaning to your dreams. You decide what it means to you or not. Much of it is, of course, revealed subconscious meaning that you consciously tune into. But say, for example, you don't like certain meanings that you attribute automatically at conscious levels. You can change it. Meaning is optional in all of the events that play out for your life. For example, you get into a car accident and you get a fender bender. This could mean that the universe is attempting to rob you by making unnecessary obstacles. Or it could also mean the universe is seeking to get your attention so that you pay closer attention to the details and that you are less attached to those specific things you intend to create and more open to the dance of life. The meaning that you choose then defines how you experience that event. Even the meaning of color. You paint the walls blue in a house because it allows you calming energies. But somebody steps into your house who attributes blue with drowning in a lake, and they don't like it very much. So in a way, that is an opportunity to support that person in reframing the meaning that they have chosen to create with that color and allow for something new to emerge. So understand that meaning is occurring all the time. And that's just one, in a way, from our perspective, aspect of it. And the engine itself is passion. So you get yourself going and moving in positive directions by focusing on your passion. Whatever allows you to feel alive, filled with love, filled with joy. That is meaning in a way that is built in. And the more that you experience that positive flowing energy, the more that you can create positive meaning in other areas and create stories that inspire other people to, in the same right, tap into their own passion, tap into their own excitement. And the more that people do that, the more your world vibrates at a core of more positive energy and the changes you seek to create become possible. We hope that answers the question and makes things clearer.
Thank you very much. Is there any last question in the Zoom? I think we are rounding up.
We hope that will do. All right, then. Yes, we thank each and every one of you for participating in this week's interaction. It has been a very grand pleasure for us to meet you, to reflect with you, and to support this wondrous process you are all embarking on in your own ways and collectively together. Our love is with you, and we again instill within you the trust that you have the choice to use any experience in a way that is positive, to create positive meaning out of any limiting circumstance, and to use your voice to enact the changes you want to see in the world, even if there are changes that you yourself don't know how to create. You bring about a greater probability of experiencing those changes simply by saying that you want to see those changes take place. So never feel that you do not have power. You are innately powerful, and you are innately loved and loved. We are always with you, as are the other guides supporting you and your process. So be open, be aware, know that you are loved, and souls of grand proportions are always on your side if you choose to establish connection with them. So our love is with you, and then we wish you a very pleasant rest of your day today.
Hello, hello. Thank you very much.
Hooray.
It was awesome.
That was fun. So nice.
Thank you both. It's been awesome.
Grateful. So
Lovely.
yeah, thank you for joining, everybody. If you'd like to send donations, that's on the Facebook page link. It's dante.filippini@gmail.com on PayPal and @5 on Venmo. We really appreciate it. It allows us to keep going and doing this. And again, there is now the Patreon channeling community where you can explore things that are a bit more private, and the video isn't shared publicly. Doing that once a month, starting 1 month from now. So some people are already on board, and we will expand it even more. And the channeling course again begins in one month and a week, I guess, as well, on October 18th, and you can explore. I'm looking at the computer, not the camera. You can explore opening to channel, connecting with your guides, many intuitive healing tools that will support you in your own ascension process and in supporting others through their journey. It was really an amazing transformative journey the first time, and people initiated really powerful things. Some began to channel for others quite a lot, and really took a developed practice to new levels. So
cool.
So much happened with that. There's already a testimonial video that's available on YouTube, and more info will be coming. So, and I'm always available for one-to-one sessions. Just contact me. Those are all the things that I have to say about that. How's everybody doing? How's the transmission?
Super excellent, man.
Yeah.
So many things, taking notes and like time to meditate and reflect on them. It's been amazing.
Really, really good.
Beautiful as always.
How's everybody doing? How's the transmission? What was that?
Who's speaking?
Hey, Kim.
I don't know who was speaking.
I don't know either.
Well, the time is late at my end, and it's past my bedtime. So
Oh,
when you say
we'll let you go to
thank
sleep,
you,
Pascani.
yeah,
Have very
thank
beautiful
you for a great
dreams.
session. You too.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for doing this. We'll connect soon.
Thank
Yes.
you, everybody.
Yo, thanks again. Have a great dream.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Toot toot. Hmm.